This is the Real Change Wilmington Podcast, episode 73, Clinton County Board of Developmental Disabilities, with our guests today, Marnie Reed and Shanon Bene.
My older daughter, Brittany, she was probably 3 at the time her sister was born. Man, I was having a down day. I was crying in the Walmart bathroom because I couldn't find the right blind or something. And Brittany was there and she's like, why are you sad, Mom? I'm like, I'm just really sad that your sister isn't more like you. And she just looked at me with like a 3-year-old. She's like, she's a girl like me. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. She's a girl just like you.
What is going on, everyone? This is your host of the Real Change Wilmington Podcast, Dustin Pierce. Real Change is a positive, constructive, and lighthearted source of local news, events, and resources. On our podcast, we interview leaders of local organizations to help squash rumors and encourage a greater sense of pride in our community. We have a great episode for you today, and one thing that we do before we jump into just the services that the Board of DD provides is we get to know our guests. And fun little fact, Marnie Reed, she has some pretty cool connections with the Drowsy Lads. So if you are someone who follows the Drowsy Lads and goes to their annual show every year at the Murphy Theater, this will be a cool episode for you to hear just some more of their backstory and some more about how awesome those guys are and their passion for helping others, especially those with a developmental disability. And then we'll also, big picture, talk about the Clinton County Board of DD's recent move to Sugar Tree Street into the building where the old license bureau was. So we'll get to hear the ins and outs of how that went and how they're adjusting to their new building. So this would be a good podcast if you know someone with a developmental disability or have a loved one who has a developmental disability, just to hear from the amazing people who serve those folks in our community and hear about the services that our local Board of DD provides to those folks. So without further ado, let's bring in Shanon and Marnie and get this podcast started. Shanon Bene and Marnie Reed, welcome to the Real Change Wilmington Podcast. You guys work at the Clinton County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Before we get started, we'd just like to know about you guys. So Shanon, you drew the short straw again.
Okay.
Tell us how you got to Wilmington. What brought you here?
So my father's side of the family was always around Clinton County, mainly Blanchester. So I've always kind of been in the area, would spend summers in Blanchester and Wilmington. I met my husband. He had just bought some property outside of Blanchester, moved in with him, and started my career at Claremont County Board of DD. But when I moved out here, I decided to explore, see what was available at Clinton County Board of DD, and loved it. Happy to be here. Happy to be working closer to home, closer to my kids and things. So
Yeah.
what brought me to Wilmington?
How many kids do you have and what do they do?
I have 2 kids. They are 12 and 15. They keep me very busy. We are in 4-H, softball, marching band, golf.
That's a lot of stuff.
Go-kart racing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We're into a lot.
Do they go-kart race at the place by the airport?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, my son does.
Okay.
This is his first year at racing. He's turning into quite the little motorhead like his dad. He's learning to be his own mechanic and learning a lot about cars. And he's already been hired to work on a couple people's cars and stuff at age 15.
Your son? Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's doing great. Makes me very proud.
I mentor a student at Wilmington City Schools who's into, I think it's called rally car racing.
Okay.
But they smash each other. And he's like only 15 too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
What hobbies are you into?
So we have a small farm. We have horses and chickens and goats and rabbits. They keep me very busy, and that's what puts a smile on my face most days. That and my kids, of course. We like to camp and boat. My husband and my kids, we like to go down the Ohio River with a boat on the weekends. We horseback ride. We have a couple hot rod cars. My husband had one when we met. We like to go to car shows. I dabble in photography a little bit.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Do a lot of stuff.
Stay very busy.
So last question is, what's a defining moment of your life or something that's helped make you who you are or shape your values and personality?
Oh, boy. I think the biggest one would be the birth of my first child. I was at an age where I didn't know if I'd be able to have children. And once I did, it just turned my life upside down in a good way. Very happy with my life and where it is. Professionally, I can remember working with an individual that had disabilities at a job in the community. I used to serve as what we call a job coach. And to see an individual with disabilities be able to succeed on their own independently at a job, me be able to walk away and say, "You got this," that was big for me. And that's how I knew I wanted to work in this field.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
So, Marnie, let's talk about you.
Okay.
How did you get to Wilmington? Do you live in the community or just work here?
I do live in Wilmington,
Okay.
yes, with my husband and my youngest daughter, who's 31. It's hard to comprehend that, but she's very proud of that. So I'm actually originally from the Detroit area and got married to my husband. We both worked for Kmart Corporation at the time and met, married, and he had spent some of his youth in Wilmington. He went to elementary school here. I think he graduated from Wilmington High School in 1980. So he was familiar with it. And I had never lived anywhere but the Detroit area in the house that, I grew up in. That's the house I left when we got married. So he and I did have a house that we rented after we got married.
In Detroit?
Yeah. I think we lived there about 6 months before we moved back. For him, it was back to Wilmington. For me, he brought me kicking and screaming because I just kept thinking this town is so little.
Yeah.
Filled with one-way streets that I was just sure would end up in a cornfield and I wouldn't know how to, get where I was supposed to go. But turns out I love it here. Loved it. So we've been here since 1987.
Okay.
So it's been a bit.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. And I love it. It was a great place to raise my kids. We had exceptional experiences with the school district. I can't imagine trying to have raised kids where I grew up. It's very urban, very non-personal. You might know your neighbors for sure, but I could return to the area any given moment and not know a soul.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some enjoyment and anonymity, but it's far better to be part of community. Far better.
Yeah, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Columbus for a while and moved here, so it is nice.
It is.
So you're married. You said you have a daughter.
I have two, actually.
2 daughters.
Yes.
Okay.
So my oldest is 34, lives in Pittsburgh. She has a great life. She's doing very well for herself. So she's been in Pittsburgh about 10 years, lived in Columbus after she left high school, went to college there, got her degree, and her employer transferred her to Pittsburgh at one point. She was in the study abroad field, which didn't fare so well, with COVID. So she had the foresight. I think it was more burnout than foresight to get out just before COVID. And she's in tech now and fully remote. She's doing really well, really, really well for herself. And then my 31-year-old, and I mentioned 31 very specifically because she happens to have Down syndrome.
Okay.
So she is living an awesome life as well. She still does live at home, but that's purely by her choice. She could, live in a supported setting, probably minimally supported. She's got a great life. I cook her meals. She goes to a day program and has friends, many of whom she met in school. So her high school friends still reach out when they're back in town and still engage her. So she just turned 31 last week. So that's why I mentioned 31. And she says it to me often like it's some sort of punchline. I'm 31, Mom. And I'm like, I hate that. I hate that you're 31. You're aging me.
Yeah.
And she'll just say 31. I'm 31. Can you believe it? So yeah, she's a fun one for sure. Yeah.
So is that day program that she's part of, you said, is that something that is under the Board of Developmental Disabilities or?
It's how we were introduced to it. Yes. And the payment for this, for the day program is coordinated by the Board of DD.
Mm-hmm.
But it is its own program. There are several that an individual could choose from, but that's her jam. It's the JobCom program and through Goodwill. and they do a variety of volunteer opportunities throughout the week. So morning versus afternoon, they're at different locations, Monday through Friday. She loves it.
Yeah.
She loves it. She had been employed, ironically, at Goodwill. She had another job before that as well, but she retired herself. She did not enjoy working, but she was good at it. She just lost interest. So she retired herself and she does the day program. She will volunteer hardcore all day long. But as soon as you say it's a paid job, she's like, not really. I'm not really feeling that. So
Yeah.
she's good. She's a fun one.
So my uncle, he was mentally handicapped. He passed away a few months ago, but he loved like the workshop. He always talked about like doing things and like he wanted to be like active and going out. So
Yeah.
his programs are awesome for people.
Was that local?
He was in Fairfield. So
Okay.
I guess that's Butler County. Whatever programs are Butler County.
Oh yeah, it would be Butler. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many opportunities for people with disabilities. Mm-hmm. I had no idea until I became part of that world. I had no clue.
Mm-hmm. What are some of your hobbies?
So largely my hobby has been my child. But the things that I enjoy, I really like Irish music.
Okay.
So a summer is my jam. We hit the festival scenes. We've become friends with several Irish performers worldwide. So that's been kind of getting my nerd on there. That's kind of fun. And then I really just value summertime and being outdoors and being with friends and doing things like that. So I've got like a little flower garden in the back that I really like to tend to. And then I just like to spend my afternoons, evenings outside puttering away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For life.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you like Irish music.
I do.
Do you follow the Drowsy Lads when they come to town?
They are friends of ours, as a matter of fact.
Nice.
Yeah. So we met them through my older daughter, whose name is Brittany, when she was living in Columbus after college for a bit of time. They ended up, I think they attended the same church or something, which is how they met. So she was friends with them before we became Irish nerds. So then we started following where they would go. We would go to their concerts and develop friendships with them. And then my older daughter started going to the Irish Festival in Columbus, the Dublin Irish Festival, which I didn't get at the time. But she would say, no, you've got to come. You know, we're there for 3 days. And we book a hotel room. We are vested in this thing. But through the festival, the Drowsy Lads, our older daughter, we've just been open to this whole Irish scene, from trad music like the Drowsy Lads do to Celt Grass that another band called We Banjo 3.
Oh yeah, I know those guys.
They're phenomenal. And like, we've become friends with them. Truly, they'll text my youngest daughter, Alex. They'll have these whole conversations. And during COVID, the band members would engage our individuals, through Zoom sessions and teach them what the Bowron did. And they're just a phenomenal group of people. So,
yeah, I was also in their church in Columbus, and one of my friends' brothers in the band, Brian Brooks.
Brian, yeah.
He's a fun guy.
They're all fun and unique. Yeah. And now, they're all dads now, and every last one of them is a dad. And it's fun to see. It's fun to see how they've changed over the last 15 years or so that we've known them.
Yeah.
It's incredible. A good, solid bunch of guys.
Mm-hmm. That's why they stick around after the concerts too in Wilmington and just play an extra set. I mean, in Charlie's and stuff.
Yeah. So, fun fact.
Okay.
Josh, who plays the accordion, for those that are listening, plays the accordion, also works for the Franklin County Board of Developmental Disabilities. And I think I said that right. I think that's where he is now.
Yeah.
As a service and support administrator. So knowing that kind of heart that he has, before a couple of shows that they were doing in Wilmington, actually came to our house and just hung out and played with my youngest daughter, well, my oldest daughter too, and we all participated, but we had an epic Nerf dart battle in the house. Josh would swing on the swing set and just chat with Alex, and that's a relationship that has endured as well. He'll reach out on her birthdays. He'll sing her a song or something, just very intentionally, but very effortlessly at the same time.
Mhm.
Just really connects with her. When we're at other festivals, we were at a Cincinnati Celtic festival. Drowsy Lads were there, and Josh said, "Hey, would you mind if Alex and I just walked around the festival for a while together?" Absolutely not. That's the purest form of friendship. Just those everyday relationships. So I think that's why the Irish community has my heart.
Mhm.
Truthfully, just from those kinds of relationships, it's fun stuff.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Very cool connections. So what's the defining moment in your life that's helped make you who you are, shape your values and personality?
Without question, the birth of Alex.
Your
I
youngest daughter?
The youngest with Down syndrome, absolutely introduced me to this world, rocked me to my core, not gonna lie. I had no indications I was gonna have a child with a disability, none. Pregnancy was great, just like the first one, never felt better. And, yeah, I was truthfully devastated when they told me at birth. I mean, the physicians knew immediately at delivery that she had Down syndrome. I was a little slower to get on board. Not gonna lie, I insisted that I wait to the blood test to confirm. But my older daughter, Brittany, in the eyes of a child, she was probably 3 at the time her sister was born. The eyes of a child, man, I was having a down day. I was crying in the Walmart bathroom because I couldn't find the right blind or something so innocuous like that. And Brittany was there, and I'm just having a moment in the bathroom, and she's like, why are you sad, Mom? I'm like, I'm just really sad that your sister isn't more like you. I'm just sad she's not like you. And she just looked at me with like a 3-year-old. She's like, she's a girl like me. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks from the mouths of babes, right? Get your head on right, Mom. She's a girl just like you. That was just like the reality check I needed in the simplest form. But that being said, I mean, it's a whole new world. I had to learn a new language. I had to access resources that my middle class upbringing hadn't accessed before. I was independent. I earned my way. I purchased the things I needed, and I had to rely on help. And that was humbling. And I think that puts me in a good position in my role to say it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to accept help. That's what it's there for. And truthfully, I've never met a better bunch of people than those that I've met through the DD community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is the hardcore, the defining moment in my life. It was not moving to Wilmington against my will. It was not. It was the birth of my second child.
Yeah. It's crazy how small moments like that or at the Walmart bathroom,
Yeah.
can just rock your world and put you on the right path.
Yeah, I remember it so vividly. And seriously, I think it was I couldn't find the right size mini blind of all things. And then my 3-year-old's just like, what the heck is wrong with you? Yeah, two girls. She's my sister. And that served us all well going forward.
Yeah. Very cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So we're going to get into the actual Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Okay, good.
We first just start by talking about what is a developmental disability, because I feel like maybe the terms have changed over the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'll address the elephant. It used to be called the Board of Mental Retardation and Developmental Disabilities. And you still hear that term now, but it is definitely, it's out of favor because it's inaccurate. I think to say somebody has a developmental disability can encompass so many things. It's far more accurate and it's less limiting, I think. Do you have any perspective on that?
No, I agree.
Mhm.
Typically, a person with a developmental disability was born with that disability. I have a hard time describing it too to someone who asks a question like that because there are also great professionals that work in the mental health world. And so when you think of mental health versus developmental disability, there are differences in that too.
And certainly they can coexist.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And often they do. I'll use my daughter as an example. She was born with Down syndrome. Like I told you, the doctor knew it immediately. I thought she looked just like me. I didn't see any physical anomalies that would have told me otherwise. Certainly they're there now as she's older. I see it. I don't know what I was worried about. But she has severe anxiety, almost and panic disorder. So those things are coexisting, but somebody would not necessarily be eligible for services through the County Board of DD purely for having a mental health diagnosis. They would have to have a developmental disability as well.
Correct.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
So like I said, my uncle had, he was mentally handicapped.
Mhm.
That's what my grandma called it anyways.
Right.
So gory or not, but
Yeah.
does it, like ADHD, dyslexia, speech impediments, do those things qualify as developmental disabilities?
So they can,
Mm-hmm.
if they're so severe that they do impact their ability to function in daily life. And there are tools that are used, standardized tools that are used to measure the impact on an individual's ability to hold a job or do things like that. So there has to be a threshold met.
And then how did you guys get connected with the Clayton County Board of Development? I have like a problem saying that. It's so hard to say. We gotta like say different names.
It is.
I was going to say DD.
Board of
The Board of
DD.
DD,
I'm
right?
gonna be stunned on this whole.
Yeah, that's great. We do too. We
Okay.
trip over. My
Such a
dog
long
trips
name.
over it all the time. Yeah.
We call it alphabet soup
Yeah.
because everything we do, there's so many acronyms and abbreviations, and it can be very confusing for sure.
So the Board of DD, how did you guys get connected?
So I started my career in Claremont County Board of DD, and I'll be honest with you, I was looking for a county job to help me through school, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I was in college. I started working for the Board of DD. I fell in love. I have always said in this field, people that work here, you either love it or you hate it. It's not for everybody. And most people that I have met that try to work in this field, they either don't last very long and say, this is not for me, or they're here for life. There's not high turnover where we work because of that. People that come here, they come to stay and they love it. I was working at Claremont County Board of DD. I put myself through school, had applied for a couple advancement positions at Claremont County and did not receive them. No hard feelings. The people who got them were excellent choices. While I was kind of looking for that, had just gotten married, had my first child, found out about a position open here at Clinton County Board of DD, and I was like, wow, that's closer to home and it utilizes my degree, so let's give that a shot. So I was able to transfer. When you move from one county to another, you just transfer, and that was a wonderful move for me.
So you're the transition coordinator?
Yes.
Is that your role? So what does that mean?
So transition in our world means transitioning from school life to the adult world. So I work with kiddos starting at age 14 through graduation. Get to know kids. What are you going to do after high school? How are you going to get there? What are your goals? Do you even know what your goals are? Do you need help determining what your goals are? I talk to kids about learning to advocate for themselves, whether it be at their schools or with their families through their IEPs. IEP, another acronym, individual education plan at the schools. Talk about, do you want to go to college? What supports would you need in college? How do you access those? Do you want to get a job after school? What supports do you need? Can I help get you in connection with those supports? That's what I do for transition coordination.
So can people with a developmental disability go to college?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So the big difference that I try to teach students is, if you know what an IEP is in school, you're not going to have an IEP in college. However, the same supports are available. But when you cross over into college, there's not a teacher or an administrator coming to you saying, I see you have a disability. What do you need? What do you need? Can we offer you this? Can we offer you that? You're the adult. You have to go to them and say, I have this disability. This is what I need to be successful. And they will set you up with it. Whether it be I need a little longer time on test, or maybe I need a scribe to help me take notes, those sorts of things.
And you've seen some students do that?
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Yes. And then, Marnie, how did you get connected?
So I first got connected with the Board of DD as a consumer, what we call a consumer, because Alex was born with Down syndrome. She received services through what is now called the Early Intervention Program. So it's specifically statewide, it's called Help Me Grow. You may have heard it. It's a pretty awesome collection of services for kids birth to 3. So part of the Help Me Grow program is called home visiting, and it's essentially available to any pregnant parenting person when the child's birth to 3. The early intervention piece is part of the Federal IDEA Act, which helps identify individuals with developmental delays or disabilities and kind of get services in place early to help mitigate those delays. So Down syndrome was an eligible diagnosis to receive early intervention. And Alex's physician, who is our all beloved Dr. Manzer, made a referral to the Clinton County Board of DD to receive those early intervention services. So it looked like a developmental specialist coming to my house about once a week, as little as once a month, but I think it was pretty much once a week. And they would come and they would very specifically work with Alex and the rest of the family to encourage those developmental milestones, things as basic as introducing tummy time for a child with Down syndrome. You have to be very intentional about it because they have very weak muscle tone, very low muscle tone, and just really showed me as a mom how to encourage those next developmental steps. Part of that early intervention program, which we did receive from birth to 3, there was a transition period out of services at age 3 into school services. So they made sure that we were connected at age 3 so that Alex could receive special education services through preschool. So that's how I got started at the Board of DD, was very much as somebody using those services. And then there was a job opportunity that came up through a grant to become a parent coordinator. So it was really somebody who had received services, who was going to be employed by this entity, this early intervention program, to help families understand what it's like to be in there, kind of a liaison role like I have now. So it wasn't at the County Board of DD. And in fact, I didn't become a Board of DD employee until 2012, which I think is that the same year you did?
Yes.
Join?
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of remember onboarding with you at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So I had been employed through a grant system. I was employed by a couple of different entities in the early intervention system. So I did intake and referral. I did outreach for families to understand what a great opportunity this early intervention program is and what it can do for families. And then I worked so closely with the County Board of DD providers, the developmental specialists that actually helped my family, that when there was another opportunity for the grant to change hands, and the County Board of DD took that grant on, and I became a county board employee. So I'm doing the same sorts of things that I've done for essentially 31 years, but I've been a board employee for 13 years now.
So you reach out to families and help them understand these services. Are there families who don't want the services or resist them?
There
I couldn't
are.
imagine, but I guess
There are. There are. And so there are families that decline services. And I will tell you, early on, I was one of those families. I, had said middle class, I get what I get because I work hard for it.
Yeah.
There are just some things you just can't work for. You just have to accept that I'm never going to be an expert in all the things that Alex is going to need. So I need to enlist help from people. What I've determined is doing outreach. I've done outreach and have been kind of an open book with my family's story to let people know that it's okay and quite beneficial to your family to let the experts provide you the things that they can do. Primarily, you should be a parent. You should love your child. You should give your child the things they need as a parent. And then when you need to access those extra things, do so. But your primary role as a parent and advocate for your child and what they need.
Yeah.
If I can add to that to answer your question too. So the thing to remember is we provide services from people of all ages from birth to death. So when you ask if families are resistant, sometimes it depends on where they are in their life.
That's a good point.
A lot of families love the help in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And what I see in my part of the world is once they're in school, the schools are such a big support to families and individuals that sometimes other families forget that we're here
Mm-hmm.
because they receive so much support from the families. So there's a lot of families that will accept in early childhood, then they go into school, and then after school, sometimes they're like, "Oh shoot, now what do I do? How do I help my child? My child wants a job. My child wants to be in college, or
Right.
or I don't know what to do."
Mm-hmm.
And then so sometimes we're there,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's also another turning point I see when parents start aging. They start thinking about their futures and their child's future and what are they going to do when I'm not here. So that's another area where we see people ducking in, kind of raising their hand, asking for help. Like, what supports are going to be around for my child when I'm gone?
That's good. Very good. And truly, the way the state systems are set up, it's kind of a natural thing for the county board to be more involved birth to 3 and fade, because the school at that point it's not a natural support, but it's the systemic support for all children of school age. I mean, that's where the bulk of the services come from. But I don't want families to forget that we are here for those extra needs they might have, or even activities. Our county board does a fabulous job of having activities for individuals of all ages to participate. They may not be comfortable participating in school, or it may not be something they're interested in doing through school. And we have a really dynamic community integration coordinator that has all kinds of opportunities. So hopefully families will stay engaged for those types of things until the more intense need comes, like you said, when they're like, oh, my daughter can work. She can be employed and earn her own way with a little help.
Yeah. Which is why myself and the rest of my team on the employment team, we try to, no, I didn't mean to say employment, education services department. We try to stay in touch with the schools. We try to be present. We try to just let people know that we're there. So when you do need help, come see us.
It's a lot.
It's a big world. And, one of the things I was hesitant to come onto this podcast is I'm an expert in the things that I know.
Yeah.
But there are
same here
50 things that I don't know to an expert level at the County Board of DD, but we have an incredible team. Like you were saying, they're passionate about what they do. They've been vested and invested for a long time. We don't have a lot of turnover because they're invested in what they're doing. And the thing I've seen too is they like the people that they work for, that they help connect services. They actually like them, which I think was one of my concerns as a parent was, I like my kid. I think she's a hoot, but to see people that are helping support her, they genuinely like her, which helps. It's not, there's not an eye roll when, Alex calls her service and support administrator. It's a, oh, hey, Alex, how are you? How was your birthday? It's a whole sense of community.
I've received texts from
you
Alex
do
sometimes.
Yep.
Do you guys know much about the history of the Board of DD across the country? Can you maybe touch on that? And then maybe at a county level? If you don't, that's fine. I didn't assume that you would, but if you do
know about countrywide.
So
every state is very different.
Every state is very different. And the county board system is unique. I don't think Ohio is the only state to use a county board system, but it is one of few. I feel it works very well.
Yeah, I think we have neighboring states that work more in regions that might cover multiple counties. Yet they don't all operate the same way we do.
They don't.
I know before this position I'm in, I was in the service and support department because, again, we have so many areas under our Board of DD umbrella. And I worked with an individual that was moving out of state, and it was a whole process for me. I had to do some research and help find that person. Okay, let me figure out what the system is like in Florida so I can give you some information. So when you get there, you know who to contact because it's not the same in every state.
And Michigan is the same. It's more regional. We had a family transfer move and we were trying to help them transfer services as well. And it was It was different. And also the age range is different. In Ohio, it's their condition that would make them eligible has to have occurred prior to them turning 21. So even if they didn't try to engage services until 25, part of that eligibility criteria would say, has this been lifelong and pervasive, basically? And then they can receive services through the school based on those eligibility conditions until 21. And I know the school system in Michigan is through age 23. So states have a little bit of leeway in things like that.
Yeah, so we have the state department, DODD stands for Department of Ohio Developmental Disabilities.
Yes, Ohio Department of Developmental Disabilities. Also, they're just so many acronyms, and
it kind of oversees all the counties, gives us guidance how each county should operate, and then each county has their own way of doing things.
But each county board, it's called a board of DD because they're actually board members that help inform each county's offerings and making sure things are run as according to the state rule. Because I tell you what, there are rules for everything when it comes to accessing, local, state, federal dollars to help support all of these services.
Yeah.
So, the county boards were originally created in the state in 1967. And I'm thankful for that because prior to that, there was no organized system. There was no one system that families could access for all the guidance. So I'm thankful the state was able to do that. And then each county board is actually governed by 7 volunteer board members. They are not paid for their time and all of the responsibility that they have.
Are they elected?
So 5 of the board members are actually appointed by the county commissioners.
Okay.
And then 2 board members are appointed by the county probate judges. And at least 3 of the board members have to be somebody that has touched county board services. So either they receive services, they're a family member has received services, something like that. So it's in our county, I mean, that's the only one I can speak to. It's a really great representation of the county.
Sorry, I did not bring that timeline with me, but
oh yeah, you had made that. That was
when we moved out to the Nike Center out on 730, which was the old missile base, converted that into our facility. Before that, we operated out of the basement of a church, I believe.
I think that's what it was. It predates me.
Yeah,
me too.
Me too. Yeah. And then last year, we sold the Nike Center and moved onto our new location on Sugar Tree Street, and we condensed. What did we have? Like 5 buildings?
No, it was more.
Yeah, with like 16 acres or something, and we moved in from all these staff, all these buildings in one building under one roof. But we're in town. We're more accessible to families and individuals.
And I think
it's been a good move.
I agree. I love being in town. I did enjoy being out in the country, because it's kind of relaxing out there, but I enjoy being in town because it's kind of vibrant. But I think in addition to being far more efficient with taxpayer money, all the money, and just having everybody under one roof now instead of in different buildings, the services are far more cohesive. Services have changed over the decades, even since my daughter's been receiving services. You had mentioned that you had an uncle, you said, that worked in a sheltered workshop environment. That used to be all that was available.
Okay.
You had an individual with a disability. I know I have family members
They closed those, right? Didn't they? Or they stopped doing that?
I think there are still some that operate in some function.
Yeah.
But as public opinion changed and we learned more about people with disabilities because of this organized county board system, we realized that that's not the only option for everybody. Just like you and me, look at how different we are and the things that we've chosen to do as a profession. Look at how varied our interests are and what we do in our off time as well as our professional time. People with disabilities are no different. They have varied and unique interests, different aptitudes, things that they're capable of. So we realized over the decades that a sheltered workshop isn't a one-size-fits-all. People just might need a little support to be gainfully employed and competitively employed in the community. Maybe they don't need to live in a facility. Maybe they can live with a friend with maybe some professional support around medication or housekeeping or something. So as community and society started to understand more what our individuals with DD had to offer, naturally there were far more things available to them, like the day programs, like independent providers providing, specialized supports to them throughout the day. So we didn't need a sheltered workshop. We didn't need place for that any longer. And then those things became privatized and not necessarily operated and overseen by the county board.
A lot of it was driven by Governor Kasich.
Yes.
In 2012, he launched Ohio's first Employment First initiative, which the statute stated all individuals shall be presumed capable of community employment. So it's the presumption of employability.
And that was a huge mind change.
Absolutely.
Change.
So it's all about determining how an individual can be independent in their community, can be successful, can be employed, not if they can be employed or independent. Does that make sense? So that's the mind shift, changing, learning how we can help an individual be successful, meet your goals. What do you really want out of life? How do you get there? Not if you can.
Is that almost to like guarantee service and support? Like we're assuming that this person is able to receive service and support. So how can they make that possible? As opposed to like, they're not going to be able to do this. So forget about them.
I think the mind shift was among parents. I will speak among parents because I wasn't part of the professional community at that point. But as a parent, I just thought, I'm always going to have a child at home. I'm never going to get to do the things that I want to do. My husband and I are never going to be empty nesters. It was just this real rug getting pulled out from under you. And then as she grew, and we learned more, she learned more, and we started engaging in these services, there was this mindset change for us. It's like, maybe she is a lot more like her sister than I was ever envisioning. Alex had a great, successful school career, even some post-secondary education, and those were all made possible because of that initiative from Governor Kasich, and just my eyes being open to the fact that, why can't she have a job? Of course she can have a job. Of course she can live alone if she chooses to. Yeah, it was a big shift in thinking. And, for some of our older parents who only knew the sheltered workshop, who only knew, my son or daughter is going to live with me until I die, and then what?
Yeah.
It was a little bit difficult for some of them to get on board with that because they never had the same vision for their son or daughter, because until then, professionals often didn't have the same vision. It was about, how do we keep them comfortable? How do we keep them safe?
So a big challenge is not just changing the mindset of the individual, but it's their families and the whole community too. Being accepting of this, being accepting of people have abilities to do more. If you have a disability, you don't have to go to an adult day program. You don't have to live with your mom and dad forever. So our jobs is to help individuals figure out what their goals are and what can we do to help you be successful in those things. So maybe you can live on your own if you have some supports in place that remind you to take your medicine every day, or you have a cleaning service in place, or you have transportation to get you to doctor's appointments, So
I think it's hard to pinpoint all the services a county board of DD can provide because the individuals we serve are so diverse and varied. Like you said, from birth to death. And all of life's little tangents and things that can happen among there. We have a lot of individuals who are developmentally delayed, but are physically healthy. So medical things really aren't something they might need a lot of support with. Then we have other people who can be gainfully employed in a competitive situation who have a lot of medical issues and might need supports in those manners. So it's so varied. My best suggestion from one parent to another, call and find out what the county board of DD could provide to you. And it's not like we have this menu of services and you come and you pick and choose. The professional that a family's going to work with is going to say, what's this like for your family? In this area of life, are your struggles lying in this area or this area? Because it looks like you're doing really great over here, but maybe you could you told me this part of life is challenging for you. Maybe we can step in and help you in that manner. So it's hard to describe. I know sometimes families come and they'll say, well, I was told to ask for this. Oh, okay. Do you need that? Well, no, not really. Okay. You've made the call. Let's find out what we can do that can be helpful for you. And services are so varied. So I'm actually going to segue into something. One of the roles, my role that I'm in now as family support liaison was actually only created at this county board a few years ago. And one of the things that I found important, and I know other county boards do it too, is we offer informational sessions for families and community members. Like you were saying, competitive employment, sometimes it's getting the employers on board with, oh, I could employ somebody with autism. Never thought about it. I could employ somebody who maybe uses a wheelchair. Never thought about it. But one of the things that I do is on a monthly basis, or I try to make it monthly, schedule a speaker, open it to the families we serve, the community, even neighboring counties on relevant topics. Social Security. Yeah, Social Security was a popular one. I ask the dumb questions. I'm like, I don't know. What do you want to know about Social Security? Great. I called the Social Security Administration and said, do you have a speaker that can come and talk to families? And she couldn't come in person, but we did a live Zoom. And families were able to get an overview of Social Security. Social Security has different systems within the Social Security umbrella, and they explained the differences between supplemental security and Social Security disability and the eligibility criteria. And that's not one size fits all either. So that was really informative to the families that came. I've got another speaker, an in-house speaker, Jamie Rose, our early intervention supervisor, and she's over the educational services. And she's going to talk to families about how to participate in their child's IEP, that individualized education plan while they're in school. How do you participate in the development of that and the special services your child's going to receive for their education? I had an attorney come and speak on estate planning, guardianship and supported decision-making, all of these things. It's kind of like the more you know. I feel if we can offer information, families and community members can come glean what they need and take it and then pass it on.
So there's no menu of services, but
yeah, it's kind of mind-blowing. Really, we want families to come and say, tell us about your family. Yeah. Tell us about how your son or daughter having a disability is impacting your life right now.
So when there's no like menu of services, quote unquote, like, does that mean you take individuals and place them with like a
case manager? Would be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Does every person like get a case manager?
Majority of the individuals do. What did we figure out? Like around 300?
Yeah, there are around 300 individuals from age 3 through adulthood who are active in our system in Clinton County. So yeah, that's a big number.
Yeah, it is.
And those all people have an individualized plan, and they work with an SSA or service and support administrator to identify what their needs are and help them find the resources and the funding to provide those things.
So does the Board of DD offer like funding for certain things?
There is. So there are local pots of money
Yeah.
that we can access that are what people would typically call county board funds. That's like taxpayer funded. There are pots of money at the state. There are pots of money available federally. Medicaid waivers. Job and Family Services has like Ohio home health waivers. So the county board isn't the end all be all, but they're the gateway for families to know what's out there. And like I said, the sources seem infinite, but there's always, some need that we're like, oh, we don't think that there is a resource for that, but let us check it out.
So I think coordination is one of our favorite words.
Yes.
Because we help people coordinate. We help figure out what are your needs, where can we find a resource to help you with that need? And now where can we find the funding for that? So we help them figure that out. We collaborate a lot with other agencies. Like I work a lot with the state DD services, OOD, which stands for Opportunities for Ohioans with Disabilities. I work a lot with them. Department of Education, local schools. So we, coordinate.
Right.
We do a lot of coordinating.
A lot of providers involved, it sounds like.
Yes.
Yep. And locally, we're the county health department, county job and family services system. Right. We all work together for the benefit of the families.
Is there any services that people are surprised that you offer that are really beneficial to individuals or families?
So I second what Marnie says. I tell families all the time, just get in contact with us. Let's have a talk about what your needs are. Sometimes we say, we don't need to put you in a plan. We don't need to assign you an SSA. We need to help you find a neighbor or a natural support in your community. We want people to be successful in their own communities and have as many natural supports as possible. So like Josh, you said from Drowsy Lads.
Yes.
That kind of relationship. We want all of our individuals to have those kind of relationships. So sometimes we get to know a person and it's just a matter of, you know what, I have a friend over here. Let me introduce you to this person. And they never really receive any services from us. It's just making connections.
You're right.
We also, some of the fun things we do is our community integration coordinator organizes Special Olympics. So we have Special Olympics in here. She also does a lot of social events for people. We have folks that have disabilities that don't receive our services that will still come to her and join her in her groups for dinners because some people don't know where they fit in life. Maybe they don't feel like they fit in a special ed classroom, but they also don't feel like they fit in a typical community setting either. And they love joining her and her group for things like that. Another fun one that Marnie and I are just trying to get off the ground right now.
Very timely. Yes.
Yeah. And there's this group on the state level called Ohio SIBS. It's for siblings of people with disabilities. So we're going to focus on kids, like preteen age kids who get frustrated or maybe feel left out. You know, you have a little brother or older brother or sister that throws a fit in the middle of Bob Evans and you're embarrassed. Well, we get these kids together that can communicate on the same level and be like, oh my gosh, my brother does that too. And it was so embarrassing to me. And oh my gosh, isn't it horrible that my sister gets all this attention and I never get any? So it's siblings of individuals with disabilities. And we're going to.
And that exists at the state level currently, you said, or somewhere else?
So it's actually, it's a worldwide movement. And I couldn't tell you at this point, like exactly how it started, but in the States, it started in Washington State, I believe. And then Ohio has done a really good job of establishing Ohio SIBS. And I was loosely aware of it. There wasn't a chapter available here or anywhere nearby. And in this role that I'm in now, somebody suggested that I look at it, and it's amazing.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. And I think had something like that existed for my older daughter, when she came to the realization that her sister required this level of attention, and that's why she was getting this attention. And I just kind of, you know, Brittany was just expected to understand and do, you know, her thing. You know, I got involved with the Ohio SIBS and wanted to take the training. And I wrote Shanon into it with me because I felt it was so important. And I know I can't do it by myself. That's one of the biggest humbling things that I've learned throughout all of this life is I can't do everything by myself, nor should I have to. And luckily, you're the type of person and personality that you're like, yeah, that's worthwhile. We're on board. Our county board superintendent was like, absolutely. I had a presentation to the board members and said, I'd really like to start a Clinton County SIBS group, and this is what it will take. And they were enthusiastically on board because typically developing kids with siblings that have disabilities, their lives are impacted forever. And they are one of those natural supports that you referenced earlier. The sibling relationship is one of the longest a person's ever going to have. And I don't want to get too much into the whys of SIB shops, but we are launching a local SIB shop. And we hope to get community buy-in on that as well for the different kind of crazy activities we might come up with for these SIBs to bond over.
And we just had our kickoff event was an all-day event at Camp Joy, and some other surrounding counties were invited. I think we had 4 or 5 counties represented, and kiddos came, and we asked them all to bring a picture of you and your sibling, and like they built posters and they stood up with microphones and introduced each other to, this is my sibling, this is a picture of my sibling. And they created power statements like, what would you like to say to the world about your sibling? And these kids were coming up with great things like, please don't stare at my brother when he's loud, or their power statement might be, please excuse my sister when she screams, she doesn't know how other ways to communicate, things like that. And it's great to see them bonding on that level.
It's fun because, the siblings, they're going to be just mortified at what their brother or sister are doing, but they're also going to be their fiercest defender. So we're going to let them embrace those roles and help them understand, how important they are.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. So the best way to keep current on anything that's going on at the county board is honestly to follow our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
There's stuff on there every day about activities, events, advocacy, information.
Let's shift a minute to just the Board of DD and as an organization. What are some challenges that the organization has faced, maybe you've faced in your roles, and how have you overcome these challenges and grown?
I mean, I feel there's never enough money to do what's truly needed.
Sure.
There, a little fun fact about funding.
Yeah.
We are 85% levy funded.
Okay.
And we've been operating on the same 2 levies since the first one was 1997. So we're almost 30 years. And the second one was 2007. So our board does an excellent job of what's the word I'm looking for?
They're fiscally
budgeting.
responsible.
They're fiscally responsible. They do a wonderful job at spending our tax dollars and doing it responsibly. I do see probably, I don't know when in the future, but probably sometime in the near next few years, we probably have to ask for another levy. We have the community is accepting that and realizes how responsible we've been with tax dollars up till now.
Is it like a levy renewal at that point, or is it another levy? Or how does that work, or do you not?
I'm not the expert in that.
Yeah, I wouldn't know either.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would imagine it's like a renewal. I don't know.
Maybe. But funding is still hard sometimes because we do dip into so many pockets. Challenges we might meet, maybe an individual, their certain need doesn't qualify to come out of this pocket of money, but it doesn't qualify to come out this pocket of money. So sometimes their SSA really has to do some digging and some research to find what supports are out there. I think another challenge that we face is we are a very rural county still. I mean, Wilmington, Clinton County is awesome. I wouldn't trade it for anything, but we are very rural. So like our adult day programs, we talked about adult day programs. We really only have one that is located here in our county. And some individuals, we want them to have their choice. It's not like, oh, you have a disability, you want to go to an adult day program, here you go, you have to go here. We want them to have choice. So we have to get creative and look outside of counties and talk to those other providers. And are you willing to come into Clinton County and provide transportation to your location? So that's sometimes difficult too, but we make it work. Transportation is that's a very tricky challenge.
Do you guys have your own transportation?
We do not. Wilmington Transit is incredible. They've made changes in the last year or so that have been even more incredible. And it's an awesome resource for individuals who live, work, and play within Wilmington. Once you go outside county lines, it's a little more costly. We do have people that utilize it for doctor's appointments or things like that. But if they wanted to utilize it like they wanted to get a job and they lived in Blanchester but work in Wilmington, that can get a little costly, especially if they're only working a part-time job where they're working 3 or 4 hours. So transportation is, I would say, is a challenge.
And I would say, too, services look different from county to county because of funding streams or because of like community-based programs that are available. Different communities just naturally have different things. Well, SIB shops is like an example just because we were talking about it, but services do look very different from county to county because of the resources within a county.
thing happened recently is you guys moved from is it called the Nike Center out by the equestrians? Is that where was the equestrian center next to there?
Yep.
Yes, on 730.
Was that, and also the pandemic happened recently. How were those two things dealt with?
Oh, the pandemic was fun.
All our services are in person, direct, side by side and along. So it really forced a change in how we thought about how we could deliver service.
Yeah. So obviously all the staff started working from home, and we were told we can't go and visit our individuals. However, some individuals that live like in group settings or supervised settings, we still had to be there to support those providers. We know we still need you to come work with this individual, but we know then you need to go home and be with your family. So we're like, how can we support our providers? A lot of us were at home sewing masks on sewing machines. I know I was. We're finding creative places to get homemade hand sanitizer and passing it out to them, supporting them however we can.
I didn't have those skills.
In my job, I was tasked with just trying to stay in touch with people. So I was doing newsletters and making phone calls and Zoom meetings. And we tried to switch where we used to have hangouts where we go to dinner and things like that. We tried to switch that to online. So we were having Zoom meetings and come play a scavenger hunt with us on a Zoom meeting tomorrow at 3, sort of thing. Just try to keep in touch with people and check in with them and make sure they are good.
And that's where we started to get creative, and we would ask We Banjo 3 to do a Zoom session with us and talk about the ballroom. And then we incorporated our individuals that played instruments. What instrument do you play? We had a talent show over Zoom, didn't we? Somebody was playing drums, and then somebody else took a turn singing.
And things started loosening up. Do you remember we had a couple outdoor meetings out because we had the Nike Center, the big parking lot. We got into, what was it called? The drumming thing.
Cardio drumming.
Cardio drumming. Do you know what cardio drumming is?
I can imagine. It's crazy.
It was, yes. And so we were doing this at home in front of our computers, and we'd see each other in our homes drumming. And then when we could do it in person, we had it in the parking lot. So everybody brought their drumming equipment. We spread out, we're out there drumming together. So it's just a matter of creativity. We have a lot of creative people that work.
Our staff is very versatile, very diverse staff with a lot of creativity.
Yeah.
We always think of how we can get something done instead of reasons why we can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
What about moving from the Nike Center to in town here? How was that? How long did that take to do?
Seemingly forever, but probably not really. I don't know when the timeline started, like when the first inklings were that a move would and should happen. But from the staff perspective, we were all fully remote for 6 months or
at least,
6 months or more.
Because of the move?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like we had to be out of the building. The new owner had purchased it and allowed us to stay for a period of time. But then the remodel to have it ready, the new building ready for us wasn't quite finished. So our remote work was extended a little bit longer. The good thing is it didn't impact any of our families or the services we provided. It was purely, a staff relocation.
We had to get creative with maybe some meeting locations, right? Meeting at the libraries and meeting rooms around town. And I was meeting more at the schools. And but
we're fully in now and by finding our new rhythm. There's that muscle memory to your job. You know where to go. You just instinctively do these. So we've had to, relearn our habits and our patterns. But I think everybody's settled nicely.
Yeah.
What did the old building turn into? Do you know?
I don't.
We're at Equestrian Center, purchased it.
Oh, okay.
And right now the sign on the outside of the building says Annex Building. There's rumors swirling everywhere. I hear so much of what they want to do there, and I'm not going to spread any of those rumors. But it'll be interesting to see what they turn it into. Or, I mean, it may not turn into much of anything. It might just be where they're storing things. I don't know.
But yeah, it's branded with their logo, and they fenced it off nicely. And
sounds like it pushed your guys' group to a better situation, maybe.
I feel very much that it did.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's definitely heightened the visibility of the county board. I mean, our logo's out there now. People just drive by it by happenstance. And unless you were headed to Blanchester and back, you really wouldn't have encountered us in the campus location.
Yeah.
Is there any stigmas or rumors in the community that you've heard or seen online that have made you laugh because they're not true, or things that you'd want to address about the board of DD? Or
the one that jumps out at me is when we moved, because so like you mentioned, we did close down. We did stop overseeing adult day programs several years ago. We used to run the adult day programs. Many, many years ago, that privatized. So a private entity was running the adult day program, but it was still on campus with us. We still rented our building to that private entity. We still oversee those individuals. They have plans with us. We help them fund so they can go there. We just did not employ the staff.
Right.
And own the company. So when we moved, there was some rumors and some things going around about how we're kicking them people out to the curb. These poor people that have disabilities, we're just kicking them out and they got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't the case.
It wasn't accurate at all. Right.
So the owners of the company that was renting from us and ran that adult day program, they knew way in advance, just as much as we did. As soon as they started talking to staff about, hey, we might move, they started talking to them to, hey, we might move and you might want to think about, finding another location. So
that was hard to hear.
That was hard to hear.
Because it was patently not true.
Right.
And like you said, the county board, it had been privatized for almost a decade.
Yeah.
So,
and along with that rumor, I also heard somebody say that that people lived there, that individuals lived there, and we were kicking them out on the street, and that was false. Nobody ever has lived there. Right. It was just an adult day program. They all have homes, families they go to every night. They just came during the day for services, and that's what they still do at their new location.
Yeah.
So, did they find any building too?
Yeah, they did.
Where they located at now?
So that company is called Active Day, and they are out in the plaza, like by Walmart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. They've rented space there.
I still haven't get to see it, but I've heard.
Oh, is that
I've heard it's great.
Is that where the old fitness center was?
Yeah.
That is now? Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. So they used to rent a building on the Board of DD campus.
And what do they do exactly there? I never see one in a building like when I drive by. So what activities do they do?
So because I haven't been to the new building, I'm not 100% sure, but adult day programs have evolved quite a bit. They used to offer paid like work experiences, but since that initiative went in place by Governor Kasich, all the county boards have been working away from that. So we want individuals to learn daily skills and learn what skills they need to then go out and get jobs in the community. So their focus shifted a little more to just independent skills. So again, every person is individual. So if you got a group of people over here that really can utilize some cooking skills, I know they were doing a lot of that. They were doing cooking skills. They were taking groups out in the community, buying ingredients, bringing them back, and cooking.
That's fun.
So whatever independent living skills they need. Now, all these individuals are assigned usually to an SSA with us, with the Board of DD, and each of them individually have a plan in place with goals in mind. So each individual, maybe this person needs learning to do their own hygiene. What else? Kind of goals on a blank right now?
Shopping. Their own, make a grocery list, go to the grocery store, pick your items.
Maybe it's maybe they need to learn some communication skills. So whatever it is the person needs to work on, the staff there at the adult day program are helping them with those goals.
I can improve my communication skills too. Some of those classes. So this is like a two-parter question. What's one of the most proudest accomplishments that you've had in your roles? Or maybe just what keeps you passionate also?
We're kind of a humble group.
Yeah, I'm kind of humble. I don't know that I have just one proud accomplishment, but what fuels me is when a family member or an individual,
you're reading my mind, stop it,
comes to me and says thank you or tells me how much they helped me. A few years ago, I changed my role a little bit. I used to be in the SSA department, and when I moved, there were a couple families, parents that came to me like almost in tears, and we're going to miss you. And I'm like, it just touched my heart. It made me feel so good. Like, Oh, it breaks my heart.
Right,
I'm
right.
going to miss you too. But on the other hand, wow, I impacted somebody that much. It just,
Yeah, they
just,
appreciate you so much.
That's so funny
yeah.
because I was struggling to come up with something, and that's where my brain went, is when most of my career was focused working in that birth to 3 system long after Alex left it. That's kind of where my job kept me, was working with the families of kids birth to 3. And it was the families that would come back later, knowing that I still work here in the same kind of role, but they would come back with their 10-year-old now and say, you encouraging me and telling me that things would get better, you don't know how that really impacted me. And those words have stayed with me. And,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
I was just saying what I knew to be true, and it was true for them also. And they came back and told me that later, and that really mattered to me.
Yeah. I have an individual that I worked with 15 years ago when I was in Claremont County, and he has never, ever forgotten my birthday. And every year on my birthday, I get a Facebook message from him wishing me a happy birthday and telling me that he misses me.
Isn't that
And
something?
that just is, I mean, just means so much to me that I've impacted him that way.
Mhm.
He remembers me.
You know, like with my grandma, I'm sure she really appreciated like being able to be more independent or doing things and getting her life back, kind of like you said,
Yeah.
because these services are available. So
Yeah.
can imagine how much it's important to families that you guys do what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many little things. There's an individual that I helped introduce her to her employer, I think it was 3 years ago. And because of a program she was with me at, we were taking a tour at a local business. She made a good impression. She pretty much got offered the job on the spot, and she's still there 3 years later.
That's brilliant.
And I just ran into her recently, and she remembered me and came up to me and hugged me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and you're still there. And and I just love it. Little things like that.
That's not a little thing; it's a huge thing.
Well,
That's
yes,
awesome.
it is.
And that's
It
it.
is.
Sometimes it's the little things we do in our job that are the big things to families.
Yeah. What was the other half of your question?
That was it. So
okay.
next is like, what's a piece of wisdom or like a guiding philosophy that you have that you would want to share with other people?
The one that I like, and I'm going to paraphrase because I
That's
have
fine.
a crap memory, but it's Gandhi's "Be the change you want to see in the world."
Mm-hmm.
And it can be philosophical and heavy, or it can be simple.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to keep it simple. Just be the change you want to see in the world. Everybody's a critic.
Yeah.
Everybody, in this day and age of social media, just wants to lob a shot, wants to fire a volley somewhere. But just pause for a moment. Just pause for a moment and do better.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite stories is, do you know the story about the starfish?
Maybe.
Little boy walking down the beach, picking up starfish and throwing them back in. And an older gentleman walks up to him and says, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm saving them." And the gentleman says, "You see how many there are? You can't save them all." He picked one up and he said, "I just saved that one."
Yeah. It mattered to that one.
Mattered to that one.
Yep.
So I definitely feel like if you make a difference in one person's life, you've done all you can do. And the other thing I also live by now I'm getting all kinds of ideas is
Not me.
I feel like we all need to work together and not against each other.
Yeah.
Like all these agencies that I talked about, that we all have different roles, we all do different things. But I tell people all the time, we're all working towards the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
We all want to see these individuals that we work with be successful and be independent.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to not compete against each other. We need to work together.
Right.
Yeah.
I think one thing the community might be surprised about is how many businesses, agencies, and individuals in the community quietly support the board of DD and the individuals we serve. They'll just do it naturally without fanfare or broadcast, but we know who they are and how reliable they are for us and our families. So
For sure.
we've got a whole community here that.
This is the last question. What is something positive, like a positive real change that you'd like to see in Wilmington's community?
I mean, I think that's the stuff that we work towards every day.
I think so. You know what I would love to have happen? I would love for an employer to reach out to the county board one day and say, "Hey, I've got this opening, and I really think you can help me find the ideal candidate. And when that happens, I will be sure to report back.
Yeah.
I just want to see the I think I'm already seeing a little bit of it, but I just want to see the continued acceptance of people with disabilities.
Not just tolerance,
right.
full on
tolerance.
acceptance. Yeah.
Like full. So we use the word integration a lot in our world. Integration means fully being immersed in the community. It means not just everybody parting ways and opening doors for, oh, here comes this person with the in a wheelchair, not making way and making big hoopla special, just fully integrating and accepting people for who they are.
That'd be nice. Yeah. Just treat them like people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if people want to get in touch with you or learn more, how would they best do that?
Well, definitely flat out call the office, 937-382-7519. If they just want to like dip in and see what's available before maybe reaching out, they can visit our website.
Is there volunteer opportunities for people to?
There can be, yeah.
So that's it's never really postings like we need this, we need that. It's just a matter of getting a hold of one of us and saying, I'd like to volunteer. And then we find out where it would be a good fit for you and put you in touch with the right person. And I feel that about everything. I tell everybody, just call one of us. If you have a question, don't worry. Oh, I was supposed to call Shanon, not Marnie.
Oh, don't worry. We'll get you there.
We'll get you in touch with whoever.
We'll get you there.
Right? Just call one.
Yes. And the easy way to keep up with happenings is the Facebook page. That's probably the most active.
Well, thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for what you do in our community.
Thank you for inviting us. It's been a great chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that's it for our podcast today. I hope you enjoyed our interview with Shanon and Marnie at the Clinton County Board of DD. If you have more questions for them or have ideas, please feel free to reach out to them directly. If they will talk to us dorks, they will certainly talk to you as well, because after all, we are a community of empowered individuals. If you want to get in touch with Real Change Wilmington and share your story, please contact us on our website at realchangewilmington.com. Visit our Facebook and Instagram pages or grab a free copy of our local newspaper at Kroger, Sam's Meats, and Fiesta Veracruz. We also currently send our paper direct mail to over 2,500 Wilmington residents a month. So if you want to help us cover our printing costs and advertise your local business, event, or job posting, please contact us at advertise@realchangewilmington.com. With that, I'm your host, Dustin Pierce. Keep it real, Wilmington.